That's how it's made. That's it. That's it.
And not at home.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Hey, I really think, I don't know, everybody gets romantic for Gonzaga to be number one. I don't think that they're necessarily any better than
We could have played our whole season if it wasn't for COVID. We had Villanova, we had Gonzaga. You know, we had all these guys in the schedule. We had phenomenal.
Coming up on the Wade and Carter Show, we'll talk wars, we'll talk Caldo Wednesday, we'll talk Wuhan flu, all that and more coming up on today's Wade and Carter Show.
Whatever. If you want to hang around, just listen to the abuse.
I want to see the. I want to see the.
You want to see the magic?
Happen. Yeah.
This is the guy. Oops. I said, this is the guy. This is the guy.
Yeah, I say that Wade is definitely the runner.
Oh, he's the guy.
Yes, yeah.
Wow.
Sorry about it.
Watch.
You're Mr. Excitement.
Wow.
I like how you come in here and you start touching everything and you pretend to move stuff that's already where it needs to be and you're still not even plugged in.
Turn me on. Plug me in, man.
There you go.
Plug me. So Mike Mercer, very exciting to see him in here this morning talking to Bill Posey. And I like that. I like the involvement that Mr. Mercer has with the school board, his willingness to come in here at the crack of dawn. Honey, I'm not talking about you, honey. No, I'm talking about the break of day to come in here and talk about all things school board. But I like how his observation was immediate as we were getting ready to come on the air. He goes, I like watching the magic happen, and it's obvious that Ash is the rudder of this this rudderless craft that just meanders through the waterways of life. I don't know.
On a Caldo Wednesday.
I'm a little sad.
Let's do this.
Hey, the Wade and Carter weather is brought to you by the great folks at Deerland Feed. You know, I was thinking this morning, for everything you need, there's Deerland Feed. Whether you have a little ranchito and you just want to make sure you don't have any red ants, or you've got a full-blown ranch and you need honcho to go around the fences, or anything. You need some hay for your LBGQT cows.
This week I will.
They got it all at Deerland Feed.
And don't forget, right now, seed potatoes are in. So if you're getting ready to plant your potatoes, get to Deerland. They're going fast.
I have
like
to
hot
admit,
potatoes.
The Weather Rock says it's 46 degrees and hazy in Victoria. Would it be fair to call that purple haze? Look out there.
Would be, I would say.
Going to a high today of only 75. So it's going to be a beautiful day.
We didn't get there yesterday, so it'll be a nice day today.
No, it's going to be a pretty day today. So what do you think? A lot of hubbub about all this school board stuff, school bond. It's not the school board.
No.
We've talked for years about the great folks, and they're very selfless. You get no credit and all the blame for being on the school board. Things go great, so we did that. It's our tax money. Things go bad, thanks school board.
Kind of like any elected official.
Yeah, which is unfair because there's no upside. I mean, the school board is strictly service. You don't get limo rides. You don't get a pension. You don't get health insurance. You're just there. But that said, tomorrow we have, very excited to have Assistant Superintendent Greg Bonewald and the head Shaka Khan Q himself, Quentin Shepard, in studio. Quentin Shepard came out on Tuesday morning and saw his shadow and said 6 more weeks of winter. So he's Poxitani Q.
You know, I don't know if it's part of the COVID hangover.
Bring us back.
But there were a lot of parts of the country did not like what Puxatawny Phil had to say, so they busted out their own versions of groundhogs to refute that.
What was the one that was in the paper, or it was on one of the memes? I'm sorry, there is no paper anymore on that. On the internet, about somebody was holding up an armadillo. Was it called something Ben? Big Ben?
Big Ben? I don't know.
I don't know, but it was an armadillo, and they were going to have like a cage match with Puxatawny Phil.
That's Groundhog Day in Texas, is an armadillo.
And I did yesterday, and so Mike Mercer's still here, and I'm just going to get like a vote of a yay or nay from him. See, this is cerebral stuff. I got a call yesterday after the show from John Paul Hull. He said, I love Ash. I said, this is not good. When the conversation starts out, when my friends call and they start out with, I love Ash, it's usually followed with, but you said something today that upset me. Instead, JP says, I love Ash, but his stock went down a little bit for me on the mental side if he's not a fan of Groundhog Day. He goes, Groundhog Day is an epic film. It's a great movie. It's one of Bill Murray's best. Now, Mike Mercer, you're the deciding vote. I mean, are you pro Groundhog Day or apathetic to Groundhog Day?
I am pro.
He's pro Groundhog Day. So, folks,
well, maybe my problem is I'm not a big Bill Murray fan.
Oh, no. He's got about a 5 iron, I think. 230 yards. It's in the hole.
I like him in Caddyshack. He's just, I don't know. He's so hit or miss. Maybe that's the problem I got with him.
I can go with hit or miss. I'll tell you what's interesting about him. Much like Robin Williams, Bill Murray can do the serious role, and he doesn't come off like, I have no doubt that Will Ferrell could do a serious acting role, but he would come off as a comedian doing a serious role. Bill Murray comes off as a serious guy who happens to be witty and funny, much like your co-host. Witty, funny, charming, starting to show a little age, a youthful 60. That's what I'll be.
Why do you speak of Caleb Shaw that way?
I talked to Caleb Shaw yesterday. He didn't say to tell you hi. Very interesting.
Terry Murray, first one in this morning. Good morning to you, Terry. Richard King is in. David Glass, good morning. HR Mallory.
You know what Terry Murray gets for that? Terry Murray, today is a great day. Interest rates are fantastic. You need to hire a pro. Guess what? For free, reach out to Motto Mortgage and let Terry Murray help you refinance your house.
There you go.
You need it to pay for the new school improvements and the new locations that VISD is going to build. You can refinance your house and your net payment will probably go down even with the bond.
Conventional financing, FHA, they've got all sorts of mortgage options, and they'll shop around, find you the best rate possible.
Absolutely. Reach out to Terry Murray. Motto Mortgage. Their motto is to take care of you.
They're right there on right between Sally's Beauty Supplies and Jason's Deli off Navarro. Easy to find.
Navarro and Magruder, Navarro and Sam Houston, right there.
Right there.
Sure.
Patrick Strauss, good morning. Lori Reese. Karen Webb, Scott Tomko, Robin Moore Knipling, Christina Wise,
Ruiz.
Bobby Leister is in, Marvin Mickish, Clayton Meyer, Lisa Poole. The Leisterometer is still holding steady at 742. Thank you, Bobby, for keeping tabs on that for us. Scott
Thanks,
Snow,
YouTubers.
Jenna West, Chris Conrad, Sheriff Louderback is in, Stephen Kidder, the Iceman. Jenna West, she says she'd love a ranchito.
Wouldn't it be nice? I look at Mike Mercer over there, and don't get me wrong. If you're a Baylor fan, and he's a Baylor graduate, as is his wife, it's a big difference. Big difference between being a guy that goes and puts on a T-shirt and a guy that says, man, I have lived and died. I've heard about the tarp of shame all my life. But there's more and more green creeping into that wardrobe. The glasses are green. The Apple Watch band is green. You know, it's starting to get in there. It's not Homer because, I mean, he's earned it. But he's like, man, I like those glasses. Why green? Baylor is sick 'em Bears. It's coming.
Nobody was wearing Baylor green in 1985.
No, but you got to believe he was. You got to believe, baby. We have a caller.
I think we do have a caller. Good morning. Oh, wait, maybe that's the wrong one. This one? No. Maybe that one. Good morning. There we are.
Good morning, caller.
Look, that's his phone line. It's there.
Really?
Well,
yeah, no, I'm following you. And, you know, Dale, tomorrow, we're excited. We've got Greg Bumwald and Dr. Shepard coming in. I mean, I think you ought to call us. And by the way, one thing I'll applaud Mike for, he said, "Hey, there is no bad feedback." He goes, I'm just glad to hear this. He's a part of the community as well. 16 months ago, he wasn't even on the school board. I mean, so here's a guy that sat through the pre-FEMA tax grab, just like the rest of us. And I'll bet we haven't
and now
talked about
catches
it.
the wrath.
Yeah, but I'll bet now he understands why it's like I just had that feeling of where's the P? Where's the P? I'm gonna take this now, but we'll give it back to you later. And we all went, nah, you ain't gonna give it back to us. Well, it'll be a lower rate later. The only reason there's a lower rate is because of the interest rates go down. But we'll see what happens. I'm going to be curious tomorrow. We wanted to provide more than anybody else. Rather than have a dog in the fight, we wanted just to provide the cage match and allow Dr. Shepard and Dr. Bonewald to explain where they're at, and certainly we'll make them aware of the criticism that's out there and let them answer it spot on. I've been extremely pleased with the communication Ash and I've had with that office and that administration. Well, yes, sir. Just maybe a little difference over how we do things going forward. For example, I was originally thinking, man, they're going to spend $74 million on Stroman. And the truth is, they're not. They're going to tear it down and rebuild a school on that location. And I do agree and did observe that not only is Stroman in various degrees of decay, but the way that a high school is set up from 1970 does not translate at all to a junior high in 2021. There's no
Probably didn't translate to the way a high school should have been set up in 1970 when they built it and didn't have walls that went all the way to the ceiling and some other weird, funky things that went on in that institution.
All the way down to the bathrooms and things just don't function for a modern junior high. So I know, and I know that
and a lot of potential security issues on that campus, and
I know though from knowing Dale well, absolutely pro public education and wants to be pro bond, but just feels like there's a level of transparency, another layer that we need to peel back, and we'll try to get to that tomorrow for sure. So as always, sir, thank you for your
appreciate the call. Thanks, Dale.
He's a good one. Well,
that's a word that needs to go away, transparency, because the minute you utter it, it makes it sound like you've got something to hide, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's like when you're dealing with a salesperson that says, well, I'm going to be honest here. I'm like, well, wait a minute, you've been lying to me? Of course, in the insurance business, it's understood. But
it goes without saying, right?
That's one thing we never say in the insurance business. It's going to be less expensive. It surely is.
Justin Glass, good morning. There's Bobcat Watley checking in. Chris Ray Brissett.
That's Chris checking in. No, that's Sheree. That's Sheree checking in.
Natalie Mayer, good morning. Lorena Bargenbrook.
There you go. Now, very excited too along the education front. This weekend, T-Lat and I are blowing out to the Maroon Ball, Industrial Education Foundation, and VISD. There's also a VISD Education Foundation. This is a great opportunity for people in the community that feel led to give to the schools. I mean, this is money that goes directly to the programs that these foundations put on, and you can look into it. They've got thoughtful boards. They've got people that are volunteers. The Industrial Education Foundation has I think this is probably their fifth
or sixth, yeah.
Just really a good track record of giving back to the schools. So, Justice Rotowski just yells out of nowhere, Canadian. Like, why?
I don't know. I think we're catching up with Bill Murray comments.
Okay.
Because Chris Conrad asked that I never seen Stripes. No, Stripes is a good movie.
Stripes are blown up, sir. Yeah, that's a good movie. Stripes is a good one.
But I'm not going to argue that Bill Murray made the movie. He was good in it. So were many others.
We're trying to bring you around.
I know.
Harold Ramos, I think, wrote that movie, right? And then he has since passed. He also did Ghostbusters. I can remember being a kid and watching, or a young adult, and watching Ghostbusters. and asking myself, how did this Harold Ramos guy get in this movie? This guy's not an actor. And then later on found out that it's his movie.
Yeah.
That's how he did it. That's how
Kind of like Sylvester Stallone. He wants to be in the movie, he writes the movie.
when you're the coach and your little fat kid plays shortstop, you're like, hey, what's Lumpy doing at short? Oh, well, look, there's his dad, Lumpy Sr. He's the coach. That's how that worked.
No, that'd be like that kid coaching a little league team.
Right.
That'd be the more true analogy.
Which immediately takes me to Bad News Bears. Classic film.
Lisa Poole says Groundhog Day was the only movie that AMC was showing yesterday all day. Well, that makes sense.
That's pretty good. I love it when Bill Murray, the first day he's walking, he steps off the sidewalk into the water puddle. By about the third or fourth day, his buddy comes up, Ned Ryerson, pow, punches him in the face. I love it. He walks over, takes the money out of the bank truck, learns to play the piano. It's hilarious. It's a good movie.
Gil Garcia, good morning. H.R. Mallory, Craig Simpson, morning, Sippy. There you go. John Candy made Stripes.
Yeah, John Candy. Lighten up, Francis. Great movie. Yeah, actually, that guy. What's his name? It's not Arlie Ermy.
I can't remember the guy's name.
The guy that plays.
You call me Francis, I'll kill you.
I'll kill you. Lighten up, Francis.
Jeremy Pena, good morning.
You're our big toe, Sergeant Hulka. You are our big toe.
Sippy's going to steal your Lumpy.
Well, I always say this: if you've got a third baseman whose nickname is Boots, you've got problems. You don't need Boots over at third. You need Hoover at third, right? You need the vacuum cleaner over there.
You think that was Boog Powell originally? Boots?
Yeah, Boog.
Just kind of changed it. Oops.
How
We got
about
to the majors. We can't keep calling them Boots.
the excitement that ought to be building? It's practically March, which means it's almost April. You've got Yuli Gurriel at first,
Pitchers and catchers in a week, right?
Altuve at second, Correa healthy, out of the massage parlors at short, Alex Bregman at third, Michael Brantley back in left, Justin Tucker in center or right.
Probably in right, and Straw will be in center to start.
There you
I'm not
go.
sure. I'm not sure center field is solidified yet.
I don't think the Astros are going to make any more moves, but me personally, spending Mr. Crane's money, I would have paid the money and kept a 30-year-old George Springer. I think
31.
Okay. I would have kept him. There was a tweet on the other day. It was Justin Verlander, and he had his daughter on his shoulders. The picture was taken from behind, I could only hope, from Kate Upton. And he's holding his hands out like this, and he's got the little girl by her hands. So she's sitting on her daddy's shoulders. And
It leads me to believe the rotator cuff might not be so bad.
There we go. It
was.
says
Tommy John.
my girl, and I said, I put on there Father of the Year. You going to play this year? Didn't get a response.
Of course not.
I mean, I'd like to know if JV is throwing at all, if he's going to play at all. He was
What did he
resurrected.
have? Tommy John?
Tommy John surgery.
Yeah,
Elbow.
yeah, I think that's about a year and a half.
Yeah, he's just staying at home with Kate and raising babies. $37 million a year. I mean, he's getting paid.
He's
like work
making $1
comp.
million for every year that he is old, right?
Think about that.
Adam Daughtry, good morning, checking in. What else are we gonna? You kind of, this one caught your eye, the way Russian. Well, let's take our break because we haven't taken a break yet. Let's do that.
Yesterday, I went by and saw Janet Miller at Allen's Record Service. I asked her how business was.
6,300. How is business?
She told me, she said, you see all those trucks sitting in the yard? I said, is nobody wrecking? What's the deal? She said they had some interesting jobs. They will help you get things, especially heavy things, from one place to another. Now, they're not a trucking company. But, for example, yesterday there was apparently some of these oil field sites, they have like a blast-proof room. Allen had a flatbed, had two of these on it. They're heavy. You have to have a crane to take them off. So
Allen has that crane.
Allen's Record Service, that kind of stuff. 578-6300. Obviously, if you need a tow, if your Yugo won't go, you just reach out to Allen's and they'll come get you.
I saw a little one right at the corner of the Loop and Navarro going south. Somebody
Right.
had, because people in this town don't know how to yield and merge properly, and a little little rear ender. I'm not sure it needed a record.
Canadian driving lesson to follow. That's what we need. Does Trudeau drive himself up there, or do you think he has a presidential?
I think he's got a prime ministerial
limo.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Something he got. It's an old hand-me-down from Ronald Reagan.
578-6300 is the number to call for Allen's Record Service.
The VCS companies. Let's just stop there. Rocket Oilfield Services, you know them. They're pipeline maintenance, oilfield right-of-way maintenance. The AT&T store, that speaks for itself. It's right there on Kerr Boulevard, just inside the loop off Main. But the VCS companies themselves, if you're building a new building and you want to put in
residential, commercial, industrial, doesn't matter. They can handle all of your
the
communication
wiring,
needs.
Cat 5 and all the to pre-wire it, to put in all the surround sound speakers. You want flat panel televisions that are weather resistant. They've got that. Surveillance, surround sound, security. They do it all. If it communicates, I mean, I can remember 3 or 4 years ago, J.R. Hartman going, and he wasn't being flippant, like he wanted to get the house cooled down. He just whipped up his phone, . Well, we kind of take that for granted now, but the VCS companies stay on the cutting edge of that technology. So reach out to them and let them solve your problems. Cheswick Furniture Company, it's so easy. 101 years, you got to be doing something right. You can't be downtown in Victoria. Before there was a downtown, it was just Victoria. 101 years, 116 West Juan Lynn. They've been there for 70. Corner of Juan Lynn and Bridge.
They moved there when they expanded 70 years ago, and they're still there today.
So bedding, they have Tempur-Pedic bedding, all the furniture, all the
accoutrement.
Love it when you talk French. They've got it all at Cheswick Furniture for 101 years. Tell Bobby Leon that Wade and Carter sent you.
We get half off all furniture.
Right, the same half that you get if you don't know us.
And today is Caldo Wednesday.
Got to get to Veracruz early because they do run out, and they pride themselves on running out. It's a beautiful caldo de res. It's got beef and potatoes and corn and
cabbage.
It's just fantastic.
I always put the rice in it that they give you with it.
Yeah.
It's good.
They don't like you there. They told me to try to get you to get your stuff to go, which is 576-6015. All you have to do is reach out early. They'll make it to go for you. I have found, now I'm not trying to dissuade you from going to eat at Veracruz because it's a beautiful place and the service is incredible.
You just did.
But if you order food to go, it seems like you end up with more food than you do if you eat there. I'm not saying you order 2 enchiladas, rice and beans, you get 3. I'm saying if you get caldo, it's a big old thing of caldo.
It's enough for 2 days.
You've taken it back to the office before.
I've eaten lunch on Wednesday and Thursday because of the portion they provide you on Caldo Wednesday.
Yeah.
Patrick Strauss says he's heading there today to get his
way to go, Caldo. Patrick. There you go.
Tell them we sent you. They might kick you
Please
out.
Please do. Yep.
So you brought this up, and I've sort of been watching it from afar. I can't admit that I've been watching it closely because it might blow my cover, but
right. As an asset.
Yes.
You're a Russian asset.
But boy, oh boy, is it and the silence out of the the Biden administration.
Right. Putin, Biden, same number of letters.
They both end in N.
Both end in N. Just saying. Coincidence? Hologram? I don't know. You make the call.
The first vowel, both long sounding.
Aye, comrade.
But the silence out of the Biden administration for what's going on in Russia right now is to me is deafening. And again, part of the deflection. Oh, Trump's in bed with Russia. Trump's in bed with Russia. Collusion. And now we hear nothing.
Right.
Yeah, there's the deflection. Who's in bed with Russia? Oh, gee, that might be Hunter and the gang, but
where did that impeachment go? Weren't they going to impeach President Trump again? Where did that go?
Yeah,
it was the top of the news.
Yeah, but there's been nothing on this. You almost have to dig to really find, other than some coverage of the protests. Mm-hmm. But Alexei Navalny just got sentenced, I think, to 2.5 more years. They gave him 30 days when he came back after being poisoned. With a Soviet KGB era nerve agent, which I'm pretty sure is only available if you're still in the government of Russia, put him in a coma for a couple of weeks, almost killed him.
They were trying to send a pretty tough message.
Yeah, there will be no political opposition in this country.
think about that. I mean, if you know, you know. They come in there, they administer a drug to you that leaves you in a coma. It's able to be determined what the drug is. So your doctor says, by the way, they gave you this KGB drug from the mid 80s that was only available to KGB agents, which, Vlad Putin at the time was the head of the KGB. I mean, the message couldn't be any more clear or any more strong. And the guy goes back out and protests again. And I'm like, hey, Nelson Mandela, you're not. They will simply kill you in Russia.
Well, maybe not. He's
back in the
proven that he can't be killed. But they've tried. They threw him back in, the gulags for another 2.5 years or whatever it is. But the protests, 5,100 people arrested. That was the tally, I think, yesterday or Monday. I'm sure it's higher now because the protests erupted yesterday after they announced that he was back in the slammer.
Chris Conrad sums it up. A guy survives an assassination attempt and then gets imprisoned for his efforts.
Well, that's because they can get him in prison. That's really what it's about.
That's what they did to Jeff Epstein.
He won't. I won't be surprised if the next headline is Navalny dies in prison.
I agree 100%.
But
it's coming in this country too, though. I think it is. I think you're going to see people. If AOC and Kamala have their way, I think you will see people sentenced to sensitivity training that involves essentially mental reprogramming.
Well, they're almost jailing you now by trying to silence your voice if you're not on the left. If you don't believe the way they believe, they try to cancel you and end your life. So basically, they're doing it without actually locking you up behind bars, but they're making it so your life ends anyway.
I've heard enough sound bites through the last couple of years to believe that the Democrats, broad stroke there, the left, if you will, the Biden administration type people, they believe in the general ignorance and massive apathy of the American people. That something could be going on right under the American people's noses, and that the people don't pay enough attention to it, or they just don't care because it doesn't directly affect them. That it's kind of the old deal of, they came for the Catholics and I wasn't Catholic, so I didn't care. They came for these people, but I wasn't Jewish, so I didn't care. When they finally came for me, there was no one left to care. I believe that sadly, the left is correct, that the majority of Americans are either apathetic or ignorant. They just don't pay attention to what's going on.
Even this last election is proof somewhat. We had 75 million people vote for Donald Trump. We had 81 million people vote for Joe Biden, if you believe the numbers. We still had 70 million people sitting on the sidelines not casting a vote either way.
That's what's interesting. I've made the comment in this country that if the people in this country who just openly claim to be practicing Christians, the people that you look around and see at church, I'm not talking about the guy that if you put a gun to his head and said, do you believe in Jesus Christ? And he would say, yes, shoot me now, I'll go to heaven. I'm not talking about that vibrant, believing, faithful Christian. I'm talking about the run-of-the-mill dude that you see at church. He's always there. He never gets too excited. If those guys, that's the Baptist church. If those guys just voted, this could be a right-wing, turbo-Christian country. There are so many people in this country that claim to be Christians who just don't vote. I can't think of any other group. I can't think of any other group that is as substantial in number. Neither the Democrats nor the Republicans are as substantial in number as those who identify as Christian. Neither black nor white nor Asian is superior to the number of Americans who identify as being Christians. And if they voted along those lines, this would be a Christian nation. And that's when President Obama, I could not fault him, when he said we are not a Christian nation any longer. He wasn't being negative to Christians. He was pointing out the fact that the people in this country who say, well, that's just not right. don't have enough gumption, they're apathetic or ignorant, to go vote. Solve the problem. Comrade?
I don't know. I have no response to that.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I would poll our studio audience,
But do they all vote Republican?
I don't know that. I think there's a lot of Christians that vote Democrat because they want to help their fellow man. They don't realize that while they're helping their fellow man via a bunch of handouts on the way, and you give them $10 and 8 of it goes to Pakistan, they're also stabbing their neighbor right in the throat. They don't realize that. It's so easy to fix other people's problems with other people's money. That's the problem.
And I see the hypocrisy out of our politicians that claim to be Christians, and I'm not sure I want more of them running the country.
Right. Well, like Mitt Romney. Mitt Romney tried to acquiesce to that Christian vote when, most of us realize that being Mormon is just being part of a cult. So I was like, hey, Mitt, don't try to play the Jesus is my buddy card. Don't do that.
But Mitt's true colors came to light this last election.
Boy, do they. You talk about true colors, man.
He needs a D in front of his.
You want to talk about true colors. You get like a little fender bender, you can buy Atzenhofer. Let their paint and body shop, they computer match the paint. I went by the other day and asked, how is it? I said, I tell people every day you're the best paint and body shop in town. Am I right? And they said, absolutely. Let me show you what. We have this color match system. Lets everything be exactly. So you got a blue truck. Over time, that truck fades a little bit. So you have a little fender bender. You don't want them to go back with the blue that was original. You want to go back with the blue you got now. And they can do that at Atzenhofer. It's all computer matched. It's all computer generated. It's like you're
That's a good point.
Hologram. White Trash Services, 550-1826. If you are a praying person, tonight when you hit your knees, ask that the city is wise enough to hire White Trash Services to provide service for this community. These folks are constantly giving back. I don't remember the last time I went to something that was sponsored by some of these other companies, but I go to stuff that White Trash Services is always giving back. They help provide this for them. Sometimes I think they're embarrassed about it, but that's okay. They are great people. If you reach out to BJ Nelson, Scott Nelson, Carl, the group out there, when you call, you will always get a person on the phone, a person that is charged with solving your problem. 550-1826. We already mentioned JP Hull and his he told me that a friend of his asked JP to look at a website, and he said the website, he called it Hacky Town. He goes, you can't believe.
Really that bad?
He said, so many people have hacked in to this website trying to fish and see if they could get something. He said, what you don't realize is if you've got a website, as you get
what do they got going on that website? Maybe we need to check it out.
It's porn. No, but as you get more and more hits on your website, you move up the Google to where, you can become the first, not a paid ad, but the first person that Google's up, right? Well, when Google, when their programs discover that you've been hacked, they start moving you down the list. So if you're running a business, you're trying to sell something, you need JP to come in there and clean that up
so you can get back to the top.
Get back to the top. Very difficult for me to understand everything he does, but he does it extremely well. We talk about the law offices of Steve Kidder. Yes, he does family law. Yes, he does estate planning. Yes, he can help you with trusts and wills, but he's also a seasoned and veteran civil litigator. You have a corporate dispute, you have a problem with a neighbor, you have something you want to resolve. He's a resolution guy. That's what he does. I'm not trying to drag you and Steve Kidder to the courthouse. I'm saying you and Steve Kidder together might avoid the courthouse and solve the problem. He's a very practical, very wise young man.
Witty and sarcastic,
yes.
Which I like.
Yeah, you need that in your court. There's people that you need to believe in that they cannot fail. One is your heart surgeon. The other is your lawyer. I've given up on CPAs. I just send the government money. It seems like all the time. And then Complete 360. Mike Mercer's still here. He's mesmerized. He's watching Facebook. I'm going to tell you, Michael, right across the street over here next to Woodlawn Bowl, you just go one click east, same side of the street as Woodlawn. There is a brand new location of Complete 360. It is the supplement and smoothie store that's up there. So you got Cherry Berry, you got the donut shop, you got Buffalo Wild Wing, and in the middle is a little of perfection of nutrition. Complete 360 has a new location right here, opens at 7 o'clock, and they are
Just in time
famous.
for breakfast, so they're open now.
Some kind of a multi-grain or completely natural waffle that's supposed to be really good for you.
What are you trying to tell me?
I'm telling you to go on by there. You need a little meat on your bones. You're going to fight these fights. Get by there and let the folks at Complete 360 hook you up for breakfast. So you know their location on North Navarro, up there by Buffalo Wild Wings.
Now they've got one on Red River.
Right here, it's right next to Woodlawn Bowl. So get over here and try out Complete 360. Brandon and his crew. Brandon was in there the other day. He said, these are great folks. We have a great team, and I'm working with them every day to get them up to speed to solve all your – I get a strawberry banana smoothie. Dawn likes a thing called triple berry, and it's got the protein.
It's got berries?
Not only that, but wait, it also has a protein mix that tastes like graham cracker when you eat it. It's phenomenal. Like you're going, this can't be good for you.
Can't wait till my taste buds return.
Yeah. Well, you had the COVID.
Yeah.
KGB administered COVID. They were trying to get rid of
Let's go there because there were some things that Mike Pompeo
you.
accused the Chinese Communist Party of on his way out the door, and it really didn't get much traction. But first off,
Wonderful segue.
because the World Health Organization currently is in China wrapping up or beginning an investigation into the China virus, the Wuhan flu, the Kung flu, the Chinese Communist Party flu, however you want to refer to it as, right?
You've offended everyone.
I'm doing my best.
I'm sorry, Mr. Biden. He did an executive order. You couldn't call it the China flu
Only if you're a
anymore.
federal employee. Which
Well, for another country. You're not a federal employee for the U.S., Russia, Canada.
but implored that the World Health Organization look into a couple of things. That the strong U.S. intelligence suggests that COVID was not naturally occurring. And here's part of the deflection that communists and Democrats like to do, because now China's coming out and saying, oh, no, this didn't originate in China. We imported frozen food and it came from that.
Because China imports a lot of frozen food. They are the frozen food exporter. By the way, when you say Democrats and communists, that's redundant. You don't have to, you can just say communists and be done with it.
So that's their latest excuse. Mike Pompeo said, our intelligence is telling us that this came out of an illegal biological weapons lab, that this was manufactured. The release may not have been intentional, but the cover-up certainly was.
Legit point.
And a lot of the other things they did because they kind of wanted to see how this was going to play out in the world. So that was one out of Mike Pompeo. And the other one was that people at this lab started getting sick towards the end of last summer, early fall of 19. And that the Chinese covered that up as well.
Right.
So a couple of things for the World Health Organization to look at. Strong accusations out of Mike Pompeo, I think, was probably one of the best secretaries of state in my lifetime.
Sure was a good negotiator.
And that information's sort of been just, you kind of got to go looking for it to find it. Even though the statements are there, the media just sort of ignored it. And you have to wonder why they're trying to placate to the Chinese Communist Party.
Samsung. How about, I just saw the
Korean.
name. You know, we get a lot of people here. Like, we get Randy Langston, but we don't get Mark Langston.
No.
Okay. Today we get Ronnie J. Estrada. So you can call him Ron. You can call him Ronnie. You can call him RJ. But you cannot call him Eric Estrada. I mean, where is the Chips connection? 7 degrees of Kevin Bacon. We would probably get like Billy Bacon checking in.
I can call him one of only 2 people I know who've ever aced a par 4.
Big hitter, the llama.
There you go.
It's a little Bill Murray tie back in. My brain. Thank goodness for Adderall.
So anyway, it'll be interesting to see what happens. I'm curious to see that this World Health Organization investigation in China is going to uncover absolutely nothing that we don't already, or that we haven't already been told to believe is the truth coming out of China. This thing is just a waste of time, because part of the issue is the World Health Organization helped China cover it up. Remember those tweets?
Yeah, no,
There's nothing wrong. There's nothing. There's no infectious disease in China.
Downplay it down. They didn't want pandemonium, and then they got a pandemic.
Yeah.
Adam Daughtry says, call Ronnie J. Estrada Punch. I like that. It's catchy. What did was that Kathleen Leininger up there that
Yeah, and I think it goes back to a comment that Adam Daughtry asked: is the Republican Party returning back to grassroots conservatives, or are the Democrats turning back to the left-wing extremists? And I think she answered or responded.
Okay, there you go. First rule of radio is do not let your face explode on the radio.
Couldn't quite hide it long enough. Yeah, thanks.
Welcome back.
Kathleen says grassroots Republicans are being continuously betrayed by legislators we elect who squander the majority. We send them bending over backwards to cater to the Democrats, just in case they come into power at some time in the future.
It is interesting.
Texas state legislators. If I have any, I liked the moves that President Trump made to get rid of red tape. He didn't follow it up by getting rid of all the people that were employed as a result of all that red tape. So even though restrictions and regulations were removed, the size of government has not shrunk under any Republican government, including Ronald Reagan.
And it is difficult to ignore that, pandemic aside, the deficit grew at a more rapid rate than it's ever grown. Maybe that's just a sign of the times. I mean, if Joe Biden throws another 1.9 trillion out there in stimulus, the deficit will continue to grow. It makes me wonder, when I listen to these conspiracy buffs or these folks that just see it through a different set of lenses, it makes you wonder if we're getting to the point where a year from now, I say to you, our income taxes only pay for infrastructure repairs and entitlements. We can no longer service the debt that we've created as a nation. So we're just going to have an overall reset of all of our currency. Mexico did it. It's not a far-fetched thing. Mexico did it back when it was 3,000 pesos to the dollar. They said,
now it's 18.
Or it's 3. And it was 3 to 1. And now it's back to 18. But I mean, that tells you would have been, 18,000 pesos to the dollars where we would be now. And nobody could carry that much money. That was the point. We're at the point now where I think you may see a complete economic reset where we say, well, we owe China X number of dollars. We buy X number of billions or trillions of dollars of stuff from them. So we're just going to add 12% to everything that we buy from China and reset our currency, and everything's back to even. Because now when we buy it, instead of paying them $100, we pay them $112, and we're essentially paying off our debt. Because we're going to be here forever, so you don't have to do it in 5 years, which is kind of what VISD is doing to us. But it's a whole different story. Feel good about that.
We'll have that story tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm really excited about that. We've said that several times, but I want folks to tune in because Quentin Shepard really is a delightful gentleman and a very, very smart man. Put it this way. When I say, hey, Q, how's it feel being the smartest guy in the room? He's like, yeah, it's not bad. I mean, he gets it. He knows he's the smartest guy in the room. And Greg Bonewald is a prize for VISD because Greg Bonewald is absolutely
super material,
ready to go be a superintendent anywhere at any moment. In fact, if I were Quentin Shepard, my handicap would be much lower because I would say, Boney, call me if you need me. I'll be over at Colony playing, a quick 9 and then go to the club for the afternoon set. There's no reason. Bonewall's legit. So I'm excited about that.
Steve Kidder says we are headed straight toward inflation and a credit crisis. Every bill has $1 trillion price tag. Remember under Obama when our credit rating got down to basically junk status?
Yeah, that's where we were with.
Well, I mean, I think we pointed out, our income taxes really aren't doing anything at the federal level.
No, I'm convinced that we don't actually affect It's not like, whoa, how are we going to pay off this debt? I don't think that's even questionable anymore. There's no 1.9
I
trillion.
mean, what have we thrown out in this last year with coronavirus relief? Like $3 trillion?
Yeah.
And we're heading to none, and now he wants another 1.9?
And out of that 4.9 total, like 3 of it has gone to foreign countries. Which is
and
half the money. It's half the money we spent in the Middle East.
And this is on top of
Bush.
And this is on top of all the money we've already promised them in our regular budgetary cycles and spending bills. I mean, it's ridiculous that we're throwing money on top of money on top of money at a time when this country and its people are struggling. And we're given we did the math the last time. I think this last round of COVID relief, because I hate to call it stimulus because it really isn't. I don't think.
Didn't stimulate me.
But what would it amount to? 15% of the total value of the package came back to Americans in direct $600 checks.
Yeah.
That's it, folks.
And think about it, it's your money that they're going to take from you at some point, that they are now sending. Like we said, the glaring example everybody used was gender studies in Pakistan. I mean, I could do that. You're a boy, you're a girl. Let me see. Okay, you're a boy, you're a boy. It's not hard. Gender studies are not difficult in Pakistan. Sorry. You got your little man bits? Okay, you're a boy. There you go. Carry on. Good day. Dana Moore de la Garza. First of all, Dana Moore de la Garza is our friend.
Yes.
Second of all, she's really your one-stop planning shop for your future. We're all going to kick it at some point. Dana Moore can help you lay out your plans for you, for your loved one, for whoever goes first in your family with dignity and privacy. She'll come to your home, sit down with you. She'll talk to you about plots at, say, Memory Gardens. She'll talk to you about Grace Funeral Home. She'll talk to you about cremation, the pros and cons. She'll talk to you about everything from start to finish of your funeral process.
That would get my spidey senses tingling if you took Dawn to go visit with Dana to plan Dawn's upcoming funeral.
Right. Well, she may have to make a note. We call her the one-stop death shop.
I would say go sit down and plan both of your funerals so you don't have any questions lingering.
Absolutely. So I called yesterday to talk to Aaron Went at Went Services, and Carl Went answered the phone. And I said, Carl, what are you doing? He goes, I wear a lot of hats around here. And that's a true story. Whether you need a generator, solar panels.
So wiring, he put Aaron in charge and Aaron reassigned Carl.
He's now the receptionist.
There we go.
I'm sure that the pay is commensurate. I mean, Carl probably took a pay cut. But he will wear the right hat. If you need a generator, he's got Generac, Cummins, Kohler, Briggs & Stratton. It goes on and on. If you need solar panels,
to choose from them.
He's got solar panels with a Generac American-made battery backup, so you can store that power during the day. Look at the roof of that church right there, and you can tell. You can put panels right there, store the juice, and on Sundays you can run the AC that you've stored in the battery pack right off that roof.
I think you'd have to probably
fortify
that roof a little bit.
You're killing my bit, man.
Then the panels might
don't
suffice.
Don't traipse on my words, man. Win Services, that's the key thing. Reach out to Win for all your electrical needs. USA Concrete Coatings, Charlie Garcia can be reached at 578-HOME, HOME. Charlie will come out. He does everything. If you need your home leveled, he can do that. If you need a garage floor sanded, cleaned, the cracks filled, and you want to put down a beautiful polyurethane coating that's antimicrobial, antibacterial, won't hold oil, won't stain, won't fade.
Chip, won't crack, won't peel.
Reach out to 578-HOME, USA Concrete Coatings. They'll come out and give you a free estimate as well. Please tell them Wade Carter sent you. And then, of course, the Great Barn. You don't have to tell Cheryl we sent you. That's Ash's wife. 920-6803. You want to have a party? Mercer Construction wants to have like an annual sales motivation party. But they, what's Mike going to do? Give everybody a coffee cup that says, I'm the boss? You have Cheryl
number one boss.
Right. You have Cheryl come out design a party. Doesn't have to be expensive. Everybody gets a new, like a estimator's portfolio. She does that, puts some kind of little bow on it, all this. Makes it a festive.
That's why you don't design it.
That's exactly what she does. 920-6803. Reach out to Cheryl at the Gray Barn. So
before we get on to it, I'd be remiss because it's my youngest daughter Ashton's birthday today, and we don't do birthdays on this show.
No,
but I got to make an
birthdays.
exception for this.
Yeah, well, happy birthday.
Happy
Ashton.
birthday to my daughter Ashton. Love you.
I love you too, sweetheart. She's as nice a young lady as I've ever met. She's a hardworking young girl.
Yeah, she has her moments.
Well, I don't have to raise her. I can just love her. Well, so tell the truth. Every day when you come home from work, does she jump up and run over and give you a hug?
No, that's Stanley.
No, that's me. Every time I see her, she comes over and gives me a hug, and she hugs Dawn.
She's been working so much lately, I hardly see her.
She's a sweetheart.
Which is good.
Well, with the rent you charge out there, no wonder
That's
she's
true. Well,
put down a bunch of hours.
that's just to cover the feed of her dog.
Comrade.
So tough day at the 2-4 yesterday. Our Gertie cow lost her calf.
How old is Gertie?
She's 2.5, 3 years old.
Okay.
Somewhere in there.
Was it her first calf?
Yes, it was.
Well, there you go. Sometimes first or last calf. It doesn't work out, but hopefully Gertie will get right back in the saddle.
I hope so. So what do you make of Jeff Bezos leaving, or the leak that he's going to be out of Amazon by the end of this year?
I guess a couple $100 billion's enough. He's ready to retire. I think I would. You got to wonder how much of his CEO-ship is symbolic now anyway. He's probably turned it over.
My understanding prior to the COVID and him getting back into the saddle to help get through the pandemic and lead them to their best year ever, he was kind of out of the day-to-day anyway. I think he was more focused on the Washington Post and trying to badmouth Trump for the last 4 years anyway.
Yeah, but something that blew my mind, and I remember when it happened since we've been on the air. We're in our 5th year. I remember that Amazon got to the point where they were twice as big as Walmart. Remember when Walmart was a big deal? And the comment was that from the time Bezos started Amazon, it took him 20 years to catch Walmart in sales, but it only took him 2 more years to double Walmart's sales. So the trend is everybody now, all they're doing is trying to find a way to get you stuff you buy online more efficiently, whether it's through driverless cars, through drone delivery.
Yeah, that stuff hasn't materialized as quickly as he had hoped.
I mean, I remember, of course, we talk about it and we do it. We buy local. Everything I can buy local, I buy local to support our local vendors. That said, I have completely alleviated any hesitation about buying things online. I used to be like, I don't want to put my credit card into that. I'm over that now.
You store it there.
Yeah, well, I just steal credit cards. I apply in your name and you've got endless credit. And at the end of the day, I'd rather buy something online and wait a day for it than go fight the crowds at some of the stores that I have to go to get certain things. So anyway, hey, we're going to get out of here, folks. Today you have the double dip blessing. The Hall of Famer Ralph Salazar will be in here. He is the rudder of that ship, as Ash is the rudder of this.
Right.
And then the loose cannon himself, the king of cool, the original Hall Walker of Patty Welder,
Right.
the brother man Gary Moses.
Love it.
Such a treasure. It's not every day. Mike Mercer's over here smiling. It's not every day that you can be around someone and realize how special they are while they're still here. And a lot of times you're like, man, I miss that old guy. We don't ever have a chance to miss him. He's always around. Like, Gary, we have to go. But with no humor, we love Gary Moses, period. And he brings a ton to our show. Full stop there. And
Exclamation point.
Very excited to have that association and that access to such a great guy. So we hope you folks have a wonderful Wednesday today.
That said, you better bring some content tomorrow, brother.
Yeah, it's relentless pressure. There will be, in recap, get to Caldo Wednesday at Veracruz, call Steve Kidder, call Dana Moore de la Garza, call Terry Murray at Modern Mortgage,
Call White Trash, call Ellens,
and
call the VCS companies.
don't
Visit
talk
Chestnut.
bad about Putin in Russia. Have a great day. Bye, folks.
Bye, folks.
Thanks for letting me ride along.
Dude, he's awesome.
All right, I enjoyed it.
How's the construction business? All good?
Yeah, you know, it's, as the oil business goes, our business goes, because people jump out.